Hi there. It's time. Let's have a show. I could stand to go back to bed. At least for a little while. I slept well, but it's early. And three, and two, and one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. And here comes a cat. Yes, I guess you can sit on me. Here you go. If you have a cat, you understand. Lay down. You gotta lay down. You gotta lay down. I don't have time for this. There's a show. Detach. Don't be a pain. You're fine. Welcome to my life. Well, yesterday I had a whole day planned out and got to very little of it. Ended up on site with a client project for 8 hours. 8 hours. And then, because I had scheduled a client call for 5 o'clock, I ran over to the grocery store because I didn't bring enough food, because I didn't plan to be gone at home. Good morning, Daniel. I didn't plan to be gone that long, so I grabbed a little bit of food and ate it in a parking lot, and then I had a call in a parking lot. And then I drove home, and then I did my book work, and then I made dinner, and then I went to bed. Actually, I did my book work, and then I had a beer. Yeah, chat does work. So one of the things that I did work on yesterday with Daniel was why his comments in the chat and on episodes, anything on YouTube really wasn't working. And I discovered it was because I had accidentally blocked him. Good morning, John. And I had accidentally blocked him, I suspect, back when we had a round of spam. And I think he just got lumped in with it. It was a rough week that week. So my apologies to him. And if anybody else out there, if you watch live or leave comments below and I don't respond to them, let me know, because we'll figure out why. So got home, did my book work, had a beer, which was the tastiest thing ever. I don't know about you, but having a drink at the end of the day, just for me, it just symbolizes being done. And it's a really nice transition. Made some dinner, which was weird. I'm on this, I don't want to call it a diet, this food program, probably a better way to call it, that you have to hit certain macronutrients through the day. You have to have a certain amount of fat, certain amount of carbs, certain amount of protein. And it's not low carb. It's actually very high protein. It's not keto. It's pretty balanced aside from the very high protein. And depending on whether it's a day with a workout or not, it changes. And I ended up with a bowl of canned tuna and protein powder and hot sauce, and I was eating it on crackers. And it wasn't that bad. If anybody out there has had buffalo chicken dip, it's kind of my version of that, but this had some extra stuff. Wasn't the tastiest thing I've ever made, but it was far better than I expected it to be. So I'll call that a win. I was able to stay up on email for the most part during the day, in between all this work. Came home, got a text from a friend who said, hey, could use your help tomorrow. He works in construction, so I will be on the job site. As soon as I'm done with my morning meeting, I'll be on the road, going to help him. He has always been there, anything I've ever asked of him. So as much as it is not convenient for me, I'm going. I had saved the day, because it's going to be a beautiful day here in Vermont. I'd saved the day and was going to ride my motorcycle And maybe I could ride the motorcycle out to the job site, but I don't know how I'm going to feel at the end of the day. I don't know what kind of work we're doing. And it just doesn't feel safe. So I'll be in a car. And while it's not the way I chose to spend the day, I take a lot of pride in being there for my friends. And I even asked him, I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to get there until 11. That's like 4 hours of work. You okay with that? He said, yep, could use your help. I said, okay, I'll be there. What else is going on today? I don't know. I had there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been kicked back all week. I'm going to have to work all day Sunday, I think, to catch up. But that's how it is. Right? I'm just very content right now. What else can I share with you? Last night the rebroadcast of Whistle Kick Live went up on YouTube. If you missed it on Tuesday, if you weren't there for the live show Tuesday, hopefully you've checked that out. If not, check it out. It's fun. We do some different stuff on that show. Coffee's good this morning. What else can I tell you? What else can I share? I don't know. So, I'll turn to what you all said to me. Let's see. Questions, comments, anything like that, you can feel free to drop it below and I'll respond tomorrow. Oh, it looks like my tablet died. Alright, hopefully it's got enough juice. Let's plug it in. I left it unplugged yesterday accidentally. Alright, while this starts up, what can I tell you? I'll tell you a story. I got nothing. I didn't hear the chipmunks or mice or whatever's in my attic last night. Knock on wood. I think they're all gone. Oh, I hope that's true. I might have just jinxed myself. In which case, you'll see me tomorrow going, "Arr." I have been very unhappy with them. Oh yeah, tablet was definitely dead. Alright, let's see what we got. This thing is so old. This thing's like 8 years old. I think it's the oldest piece of electronics that I use routinely. Oh, and we've been getting way more spam on the YouTube channel. And it's weird spam. It's like semi-pornographic. There was a comment on the Whistle Kick Live episode that said, "Good, I wait for love from you, heart, heart." I just don't understand the economics of spam in this way. All right, what do we got? We got stuff today from Frank and from Gabe. Gabe's responding to yesterday to the quote. Here, let me grab it. One of the aims of Budo is the suppression of fears. And Gabe responded to that. I could agree with the first quote about the suppression of fear if it was the fear of punishment or something along those lines. And maybe that's where it's going. And I was a little unclear on that quote, kind of wanted to talk to the person, but Gabe gives us some perspective to consider. A lot of fear is around, especially older fear, right? Was around not having enough or violence or being captured, things like that. And Budo can help reduce the likelihood of some of those being carried out. But I think it's more a philosophical thing than a response to physical or environmental situations. It's all right. Sometimes quotes are meant to make us think. They're not meant to make us agree. Sometimes there's no right answer, or maybe it's translated for something and it's a little rough. Who knows? And now we've got some quotes that Frank wrote in. Oh, interesting mix today. The very essence of martial arts is the thirst for knowledge and the truth about ourselves. Frank Shamrock. It's an interesting person to have this quote come through. The very essence of martial arts is the thirst for knowledge and the truth about ourselves. Frank Shamrock, if you don't know, was an early celebrity in the UFC. And he's continued to compete. And I think he had didn't he have a rematch with Royce Gracie like 5 years ago, if that, when they were both 50? Or am I mistaking him for Ken Shamrock? There's a Ken Shamrock. Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock. Oh, now I'm unsure of myself. I'm gonna look it up. Let's double check who Frank Shamrock is. Come on, let me type. Oh, it's so slow. Come on. Frank Shamrock. Okay. Frank Shamrock is a retired American professional mixed martial artist. Shamrock was the first to hold the UFC middleweight championship and retired a 4-time defending undefeated champion. Shamrock was the #1 ranked pound-for-pound UFC fighter in the world during his reign as the UFC middleweight champion. And Ken Shamrock is his brother. Okay, there we go. I don't remember which one ended up in professional wrestling. But instead of reading to you, we'll just move on. Now back to the quote. It's going to bug me. I like to get names right. You know, it's... the world is so unconcerned with truth. And we spent some time yesterday talking about truth. Or was it the day before? Anyway, we spent some time recently talking about truth. I care about truth. I care about what's real. I am the first person to fact check my friends, regardless of their political leanings or whether or not I agree with the sentiment of what they put up. If somebody posts something on social media that I completely agree with, but I know it is untrue, I will post evidence that it is untrue. If you have to resort to falsehoods to make your argument, maybe your argument isn't that strong. Why are we in the political situation we are in the United States right now? Because none of us cared about what was true. And I don't mean that in any kind of political leaning way. I mean the way that we are treating each other. Facts matter, and the way they're presented matters. The very essence of martial arts is the thirst for knowledge and the truth about ourselves. Moving on. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. If you ever listen to an episode of Martial Arts Radio, you know that my favorite interview tactic is to just remain silent. If I stay quiet, here, I'm going to tip this down a little bit. You can get a little more cat in the shot. Whoops! As I break the phone. How do I do? Well, there we go. Sorry, everyone. I guess I can't tip it as much as I wanted to. It fell right on my shin and hurt a surprising amount. If you listen to an episode of Martial Arts Radio, you know one of my favorite interview tactics is to remain silent. People are uncomfortable with silence. They feel the need to fill that silence. And I'm reminded of that every time the power goes off here. It's just quiet. I hear outside. I don't hear any of the ambient electronic noise. I don't hear computer fans. I don't hear TVs. I don't have anything. Daniel's saying he has to catch the rebroadcast, the live events at 3 a.m. his time. Yeah, yeah, that's one of the challenges of being a global media. Can't quite call us a conglomerate. We haven't conglommed anything. But, yeah, there's always going to be part of our audience that we can't be convenient for. But you know what? So we center it around me. What's convenient for me? Because I got to be there. At least for now. That silence is powerful. In an interview, the person more comfortable remaining silent will win if it's kind of an adversarial sort of interview. We don't have those on Whistlekick, but I still use that strategy. I still let people talk because they'll say what they mean to say and then they go quiet and I know there's more, so I'll just shut up. And sometimes they'll count to 3 or something and go, oh, he's expecting me to talk more, and then they just talk. But they're not as filtered. They don't hold back in the same way because they're nervous. So you get the truth, or you get a more raw version of what's going on, and I like that. Silence is powerful. We don't appreciate it. Oh, it's too quiet. I've got to turn on music. I've got to turn on the TV. I've got to leave the TV on for my dog. Your dog's okay with silence. What defines us is how well we rise after falling. Conor McGregor. He's made a career of that. He's done a great job with that. I have made no secret. I am not a fan of Conor McGregor's demeanor. I have great respect for the man's skill and would almost say that I am a fan of his work. Yeah, I can say. I find the man's work ethic, his dedication, his ability to, in his words, rise again, to be exceptional. And I have some admiration for that. But to compartmentalize, I think the guy's an utter putz. And he would not be welcome at my dinner table. Would I put him on the show? I don't think he has any traditional background, so no. People don't realize that we get approached, maybe not often, but frequently enough, with people who would probably be good for the show in terms of exposure, but they're not the right guests. They are not where they are because of their traditional martial arts training and background, and I won't compromise that. We've had UFC champions come to us say, "Hey, can I be on your show?" I've said, take a look at their background. You know, they did 3 weeks of Taekwondo when they were 13, but everything else they do now, they dabble, and they are truly a mixed martial artist. The answer is sorry, no. People don't realize how strict we are on the back end, and that's sometimes that's why it's a challenge to get guests, because quite often the best martial artists, the ones who have accomplished the most, are the most humble. And they're afraid that we're going to put them on, I think, and just, blow smoke up their butt. And they don't want that. It's not what we do. Fortunately, we've got years and hundreds of episodes to point to and say, go listen to any of them. It's not what we do. I've got a call next week with someone who I think is going to help us do what we do better. I'm excited. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Sun Tzu. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. I talk often about the fact that I am subsidizing Whistlekick with this consulting work that I do. And I know how to run a consulting business. I did it before for 15 years. I'm good at it. And one of the things I've found is that the best way to grow a company is to treat the people that you have coming to you as well as possible. This is why we recently implemented a new thing for Whistlekick. If you buy something from our store, you will get a card from me. I'll send you a note card saying thank you. Because who does that? Constantly looking for ways to do these things. How do we make the person that we're engaging with feel as great as possible? I made time yesterday to have a call from my car with a client who needed to talk to me. He's in the midst of a kind of a fight and some frustrations with his business partner, and he needed to vent, and we needed to talk about what it meant for the work that he and I are doing. This guy's already introduced me to one potential other client, and there are probably dozens more coming. The better I treat him, the better he'll treat me. Can you hear the hydroponic system? I made a small change to it, so the discharge is a little bit quieter. I need to improve it, but I'm gonna slowly refine it. What you can't see, I put up an LED light because the sunlight coming in through the window wasn't enough. I knew it wouldn't be. And just slowly refining that. So I'm gonna have fresh veggies all winter. I think when it all is said and done, it's probably gonna be about a $250 setup. Maybe 3. Guess what? There's a business idea in there. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready to move forward on that. So many businesses. I'll be the next Elon Musk, but with far less sexy businesses. Instead of electric cars and digging holes in the ground and solar roofs and going to the moon, it'll be sparring gear and lettuce and pirate ships. It's all right. That's all right. Good stuff today. We don't do homework anymore. Those of you who have watched for a while know that we used to do homework. But I hope when we have these conversations, I hope when we talk about certain things like truth, that you'll spend some time through your day thinking about it. What does this mean? Whenever I share my opinions, whenever we do this or martial arts radio, any of the content that we do, I'm not so arrogant as to say, you should just believe what I believe. It's not what I want. I want you to hear what I say, and I want you to filter that through your experiences, your own knowledge, your opinions, and come to your own conclusions. Do you agree with me? Awesome. Do you disagree with me? Also awesome. Whatever your beliefs, you should be able to back them up. If they're rooted in some kind of fact or experience, you should be able to articulate that. You should be able to say, I think this is the right way to do this. Why? If your response to that question is, well, it's just what I think, you probably need to go deeper. Parroting an opinion because someone that you respect told you to feel that way, it's not a good way to do it. It leaves us all open to being manipulated. I think that there's an appropriate amount of skepticism that we need to have with everything, with the things that we talk about on our shows, the things that we see on television, here on the radio, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to dig in a little bit. If somebody posts something on social media and it either sounds too good to be true or seems completely false, or even better, the information being asserted is text on an image. It's not even text, so it skips through all the automated fact checking. That's your key right there. The moment something comes through like that, 87% of this resulted in this and that. You should fact check that immediately. If you share facts via social media, if you perpetrate them without researching them, even if they turn out to be true, you're part of the problem. I had somebody send me something, a martial arts friend send me something last week, and it was something like this, and it was interesting because I like this person, and the facts that it was asserting came from an opinion that I agreed with, but the facts were wrong. And I pointed that out, and I said, it is your responsibility to check this. Well, the person who sent it to me did. I don't care. Everybody says that. If you're not, and I told him, I said, if you're not going to fact check these things, I do not want you to send them to me. Because I don't have time to fact check everybody's everything. I'm going to choose to engage with some of them, and you should respect my time and me enough that if you're going to send me something that you assert as fact, that you have determined it is factually correct. If you're not willing to do that, I don't want to hear from you on that stuff. And he was butthurt about it, but whatever. He was butthurt because I called him out. I have no problem calling people out. And on that note, I'm going to drink more coffee and sit here with a warm cat in my lap and probably procrastinate a little bit too long on getting ready for my day. I hope you have a great day. I hope wherever you are, the weather is beautiful and you are productive and happy and good unexpected things come your way. And regardless, I will see you back here tomorrow for Friday's installment of First Cup. Leave me some questions, some comments below, and I'll answer them tomorrow, and we'll have, I'm assuming, some jokes from Frank. Always a great way to start your weekend. Thanks everyone for joining me. Take care. Peace.